showcasing the new, Moonlighter Dye logo. Hoodie zipped down just enough. I'm actually giving a present. I'm actually going to be sitting on a panel at Tampa Tech Week next week, and I got to figure out what I'm going to wear. But should I wear a Moonlighter Dye
I thought
shirt?
you were literally going to say, I need to figure out what I'm going to say.
Oh, no. They kind of gave us what we're going to say, or the questions.
Is it during the day?
It's during the day. I'll be in Tampa.
Are you staying overnight?
No, I'm going up for the day. No.
Is it on my calendar?
Probably not.
Can you put it there?
Sure, absolutely.
I feel like
But you were thinking that you need a show shirt, or when you said I need a shirt.
We talked about it last time you wore your Moonlighter Dye t-shirt, and I said we need business and belly laugh shirts. And it's funny because today, and I feel like I say this every time I come in, I only come in on the offices. What am I saying? I only come into the office on Wednesdays right now. And when I'm getting dressed in the morning to actually see the world versus see the streets in my leggings and t-shirt,
Yeah.
I try to figure out okay, what should I wear? And because I'm not getting dressed every day, I'm is this?
You have too many options?
I don't feel like I have any
Whereas
options.
If you get
I feel like your mind
every day, you just kind of grab off the rack.
Well, and it's dirty, so you wore it because it's in the dirty clothes. But so you're not going to choose it again and wear it multiple days in a row. Whereas if I'm only coming on Wednesdays, if I wore the same thing every Wednesday, it would be does she only own one outfit? Is that, but it's maybe it's clean.
So you're saying that there's enough time between Wednesdays for you to do laundry.
Right.
Therefore, you could theoretically wear the same thing.
And forget that's what I wore.
But just so you know, if you did your laundry every week and you wore 5 things, you could still wear the same thing the next week on Wednesday.
Oh, I know that. And it would be clean. What I'm saying is,
I feel like you wore that 2 podcasts ago.
See, that's the thing. I don't know when I wore this last. And I was did I wear this?
You got to look at the shorts. You scroll to the shorts because you can see the.
Okay, but so you can just wear the same t-shirt all the time and you don't ever have to scroll through to see what you're wearing?
I wear the same clothes every day.
That's why I need a t-shirt for the podcast.
So you can just wear the podcast shirt.
Correct, on Wednesdays.
Or you could just have a uniform, like a black collared turtleneck.
I'm sorry, did you hear what you just said? A black collared turtleneck.
Yeah. Isn't that what it is? It's collared.
Okay.
Like a turtleneck.
Well, the turtleneck is the neck. I'm picturing literally something around your neck with a fold down collar.
I just started something new. I'm patenting that.
I feel like a tortoise would wear something like that.
I will tell you, I always love it when you wear the turtleneck stuff. I just think it's
a collared turtleneck.
Yeah, I mean, collared or uncollared. I like them
You
both.
do like that style, but no, I'm not. I don't own them. And in the dead heat of the summer, which we're walking into, I'm not going to show up in a collared turtleneck.
That's true, but it's always cold in here, so you should be good to go.
Not that cold.
No.
So I need to figure out what I'm gonna wear.
What you're gonna wear?
Yeah.
All right.
Or
well,
start
you know
looking
what?
back
I
at
actually
shorts.
walked into the podcast amazed at how many fun belly laugh things were on the agenda today. And there was no business at all.
Okay, for the record.
And I added to it
for
quite
the record,
a bit. But
let's be honest. Okay, we have 2 roles here. The podcast is called Business and Belly Laughs.
Yes.
I feel solely responsible
for the belly
laughs. And if you happen to have one, that's a great addition to the team. But if you don't, that's okay because I know I have that covered.
100 podcasts later, you literally are now telling me what the formula is. And this entire time, I did not realize I was solely responsible for business and you were solely responsible for belly laughs.
In what world was I bringing business to the table at these discussions?
Well, okay, so you make a very valid point right now, which is part of why we have this husband-wife in business team, because we're technically supposed to both be in the business too.
Okay, and I am, because we have been discussing business.
So all the men that are listening
Hold on, just like I said.
It's no different at your house and my house.
Just like I just brought up the fact that if you brought a belly laugh to the table, it would be a major value add. Now,
there are times I bring a lot of belly laughs to the table, and you're like, oh my gosh, we're going to talk about that?
Well, lucky for you, since you didn't understand your role in this podcast, I have continued to bring business to this podcast for the last, how long?
I feel like it should be a balanced, but I'm okay unbalanced sometimes.
No.
I just am pointing out that you had a lot of stuff. What I'm pointing out
is that I make the notes. Okay, that's what I'm pointing out right now.
Okay,
I make the notes.
No.
I come up with the topics.
You make an intro to the note. I end up cleaning them up.
People, I'm just going to say,
and I print them.
Let's say there's 20 bullet points. Okay. By the time we get into the room, 18 of them were mine and 2 of them were his.
Okay. I'm not exactly sure that is correct. I would probably say it's more 60-40.
Oh my God.
I'm being serious right now. If I look at the notes right now, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. There's 14 notes on here. And I have given you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the 14. Okay.
And they all happen to fall under the business
30%
category.
And because
that's the most bullets you've given in a long time. I had so
many things to add to home life and to laughs, but I couldn't because it was taken. You took too much. Kind of like my uncle lobstering. Takes too many lobsters.
Oh my gosh. The lobster debacle.
That's a whole nother story. We shouldn't get into that.
Well, we should get started.
I think the only thing that everyone wants to know is Kyle and Amanda. I think we should just...
It's not Kyle and Amanda. That's the whole point.
I know. It's Amanda and West.
Okay. Here's the thing. We could go viral for this because I might need to just break down the saga real quick for those who are uninterested.
Can you do it in less than 5 minutes?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, you get 5. I'm putting the timer on.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so first of all, if you don't watch Summer House is a show on Bravo. It's one of the best reality TV shows. We love it. We've talked about it on the show before. One of the main characters of the show is Kyle Cook. He created the drink brand called Loverboy. He got married to Amanda Batula, who just last year started her own swim line. And they, in this last summer, on this last season of Summer House, had some major turmoil amongst their relationship. And shortly after the show finished airing and BravoCon happened, they publicly announced that they were getting officially separated and divorced after 10 years of marriage. Okay? That's Kyle and Amanda.
I don't think they've been married for 10 years.
They've been together for 10 years. You're right.
They've been married for like 4.
Okay. I agree.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. Misspoke.
And I don't even know if they've been together for 10 years. They've known each other.
No, she said she's been dealing with this romantically for like a decade. Like dealing with the back and forth of his entrepreneurial spirit.
Anyway, I don't want to take part of your 5 minutes. Keep going.
I know. So then, there's another side story to this. So Sierra, who's also on Summer House, and West, who was one of the newer members of Summer House as of the last 3 years. The first summer that West was on the show, they had a bit of a summer fling. Sierra was in love with him. After the show aired, it was his first time experiencing kind of the PR limelight of being on a reality TV show. And women wanting his attention. And he seemed to go fly over into that realm of attention. And Sierra fell by the wayside. Now, she's used to reality TV and fame. She couldn't believe that he took some of his insight and information to the press prior to coming to her. So there was like major issues between them. Paige DeSorbo stood up for Sierra and was like, how in the world could you not want to be with this gorgeous queen of a human being who's just funny and beautiful inside and out? Okay. And so they had a tough summer the next summer. And now this third summer, they are like almost rekindling the flame, which makes this situation so much worse because it was like Sierra, who has had some issues in her childhood that she's shared publicly, has finally come to the table and been like, I'm super vulnerable. I don't want to open myself up, but there's obviously something there. I don't know what it is. And people are like, I think West is in love with you. And she's like, even if he was, he wouldn't say it. So there's this whole thing where it's like, are they going to rekindle the flame? Well, all of a sudden, halfway through the airing of the Summer House season is all these rumors that Amanda, who just announced separation from Kyle in January of this year, and West, who was Sierra and Amanda are best friends, literally best friends on and off the show. They've supported each other. And Sierra has been the biggest advocate for Amanda in saying, you
break up with Kyle.
You deserve more. You don't deserve to be talked to like that. Who are you if you're not with Kyle and you're not associated to the Loverboy brand?
Kyle's having an entire mental breakdown the entire time because he's in business is failing. He's negative $175,000 a month. and things are going slowly down.
He pretty much on the show is communicating to all of his other housemates, like, if I don't have a change in this brand that I've put all this money into, then one, I'm personally responsible for this loan up to the $2 to $3 million, and two, I've got about 3 months left of payroll until I can make payroll. Well, Amanda's sitting over here and she's like, I wasn't part of those conversations.
3 months. That's like an eternity.
Oh my God. Well, by the way, me and him watching this show when these entrepreneurial conversations come up between Amanda and Kyle, I'm like, I have anxiety. I can't even talk about this. I don't want to compare it to our business. But long story short, you made me totally lose my train of thought because you brought up Kyle.
2 minute morning.
Oh my gosh. So anyway, a couple months ago, there was like all this talk about West and Amanda were like fondling, like playing hands underneath a table right in front of Kyle's nose. And everyone was like, that's silly. I don't believe it. Kyle was even on Watch What Happens Live, and he was like, I don't think there's any merit to it. I'm surprised it's gone on for as long as it's gone on, this talk of them being together. But I don't think there's any merit to it.
Because people need to find something.
So they want to make a big deal out of it. But there was only one, I think it was Dubois, who was saying that this was happening. All of the other like tabloids, they weren't talking about it because usually you need a little bit more information before you're like, I'm going to make this.
The other tabloids do not need it. It just
No, they did. They did. They needed more insight and information. So they were holding off. And Jason Tartick did an interview with Amanda, and he literally asked the question, so what about any of your other housemates? And she's like, no, sorry, not into any of the other guys. This was just like 2 months. This is in beginning of March, okay? Then there was a video that West posted online where they're all walking down the street. He's with one of his best friends, and Amanda's
we're at
there.
5 minutes, but I'm going to give you 30 seconds more.
Well, I need a little bit more time. So Amanda turns around and she's like, we're hard launching and people don't even know it. And West's friend who was with them like gave big eyes and turned around. Well, anyway, just this week, news hit that it wasn't all just rumors. And sorry, you interrupted me. Kyle, who was the ex-husband, was on Watch What Happens Live with Andy. And he was like, what do you think of the rumors? And he said, I don't think there's any merit. I feel worse for Sierra if it's true than I do for myself. And then he was like, if it was true, he goes, I think it would be a bit, he used a word, he didn't call it messy. He was just like, I think it would be a bit crazy. And he was like, but, I just want Amanda to be happy, is what Kyle said. Now, I would love for Kyle to be asked that question again today, now that there's proof that it was true. But so earlier in the week, there was apparently a photograph taken of Amanda and West inside of Amanda's new apartment, because she moved into her own apartment, kissing. And no one believed it, but they're like, no. Sources say, yes, this is true. And apparently it's even worse because him and Sierra were going to try to make it work. Like things got a little bit further. Sierra was clueless. Kyle was clueless. And then all these things were like, they're going to come out with a statement by the end of this week because the proof is in the pudding and there's too much going on. They have to come to the forefront and say something. So before they made the statement, okay, Mother Hubbard, Lindsay Hubbard, comes on board and she literally posts online a picture of her and Sierra. And then the next picture was like a typical Lindsay Hubbard meme of this disgusted face. And so everyone's messaging going, does this mean it's true? Are you team Sierra? And she's hearting the messages. And so everyone's like, oh my God, it's true. Same time, Austin Kroll is out to dinner with Andy and Anderson
the fact
Cooper.
That you know everyone's first and last names. Like,
he's out to dinner.
Barely remember
so
their
don't
first
forget,
names.
Bravo is responsible for Scandival, right? Which is when Tom, who was on Traitors, so you know him, had the whole scandal there. And people are coming to the table and saying this could be almost, it's not as bad, but almost just as bad as that. And so then Austin posts a picture and said, apparently pasta and effing your exes is back. Like that's like back in right now or whatever.
I saw that.
Effing others' exes, obviously.
Oh, okay.
Which is so crazy because at the end of the day, Amanda's supposed to be. Now, what's crazy too, I'm sorry, I can't help it.
I know.
So Hannah,
3
who's
minutes
the
over.
other side of
good,
Giggly
though.
Squad. No, this
Hannah,
people want to
Giggly
know.
Squad. People want to know.
So Hannah and Amanda have never been friends
I
because
need
the
to
summer
know.
that Hannah was on Summer House, like it did not go or end well. And so Hannah literally has made a post that's almost insinuated like told you so, because everyone was like, now that Amanda and Kyle are divorced, because the issue was really with Kyle, are Hannah and Amanda going to be friends again? And now Hannah's like, no, and neither is anybody else. Thank you very much. Now everyone
So she's saying the problem was actually Amanda all along, not Kyle.
Well, she was never friends. It didn't matter that it was Kyle or not. She was never friends with her. And Paige was always stuck in the middle. And so once they got divorced, everyone was asking Paige, are Hannah and Amanda going to be friends now? And Paige was like, that would be nice, but it's up to them or whatever. And Paige is like literally falling into the background. Like, I don't give a shit about these old summer house people that I was on the show with, but she's obviously team Sierra. Like, she's like, this is one of my best friends. I can't believe you did that. So Amanda was not a girl's girl. And it's very unfortunate because they did announce and send out an official statement. Both her and West posted the same exact statement to their stories at the same exact time. Within minutes, Sierra stopped following both of them on all platforms. And it just said something along the lines of like, we didn't expect this connection and we didn't mean to hurt anybody. And Sierra's best friend in real life posted and was like, amazing how you hard launch a connection before you even apologize to the people that you actually hurt. And then there was a picture of Sierra like in the street, just head in hands with someone like holding her on the sides, like after she had seen the picture of them kissing in the apartment to confirm that yes, it was in fact true. All this to say, they have not filmed the reunion yet, and it's going to be juicy. So if you haven't seen Summer House, go catch up on the seasons and watch the reunion.
I'm really excited to see the reunion. And you and I have very different feelings about it. One, I don't think Sierra, deserves anything in the sense that she basically toyed with, he was like kind of chasing her, and she just didn't forgive and stuff like that. So I'm like, you know what? I don't really give a hoot.
No, Sierra was hurt. Took her a minute to open her heart because her feelings were genuine.
It's not about opening her heart. It's about actually just treating him kind of nice and like a person instead of like
some of it
trashy.
was joking. But anyway,
I don't know. TV can always. Things.
We cannot say a bad word about Sierra on this podcast right now.
I think Sierra's great, but I'm probably more Team West than anything. And
oh my God, what?
Yeah, I like West.
No, you can't say that.
What has he done wrong? He hasn't done anything wrong. Saying something and not understanding and doing whatever isn't.
Well, it's all very fishy on this last episode that aired. It's like Kyle speaks to Amanda in an inappropriate way, walks by her and says F you because he's all frustrated that she's giving attention to everybody else.
He can't get upset at someone because they're just, he's
but
single.
But West stands in like he's just Mr., I'm going to save the day. And he's like, you can't talk to Amanda that way.
All, I think a lot of women would agree with me that West is like very likable. I think he's more likable than.
I will say, I think Weston and Amanda are in for a world of hurt right now. But
you also made a prediction last night.
I do think that they're going to be together forever. They both come from a small hometown. I think that they're going to relate even more going through this difficult time because they're going to lose all of their really close friends. They're both going to step aside from the show. However, Amanda and Kyle were together and they were contracted in a spinoff called In the City, and that's like filming. Like that's happening.
Really?
Yeah. So, and that was before they got divorced. And then it was even more interesting that they were in the city because they got contracted to do the show since they were a married couple and they were one of the people they were going to follow. But then they were both contracted following them separately in their lives in the city.
I know a lot of times.
Now, West just got himself a front row seat on that show.
Yeah. Well, that's my point is that a lot of times I'm thinking that some of this stuff is engineered. It's kind of like, hey, it's what kind of where my life's going to go. And like, okay, how can we spin this? Keep the secret. Okay, we're going to release this here and this there. And let's wait till, like, it's just like, they literally announced that they split right before the start of Summer House to drive people to watch Summer House. Like, it's too convenient. I wish we could do marketing this way.
They had moved into different apartments.
Follow us so
they had moved into separate apartments before BravoCon and showed up to BravoCon as a married couple. And said, like, did not answer. And that's what's so crazy. So West was also on Watch What Happens Live, and we are way over time. But this is so juicy. And it's literally all on everybody's seeing on their algorithms right now.
I'm not seeing it in any of my algorithms.
Okay, well.
I don't really watch. We actually talking about the algorithms and how.
Have you seen it, Maria?
No.
She said no.
No, she hasn't seen it. It's yours. You need to get off your phone. You need to get off your phone.
No, it's not that I'm on my phone. It's just what my phone serves me.
What I'm really excited about is the fact that we're sending astronauts to the moon today. Did you know that with Artemis 2?
I did hear that. Oh, my mom today was saying that there's something going on with tonight. The moon.
Yes,
They said they can see, my parents can see the rocket launch from their backyard.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it'll be like this little teeny
dot. Yeah, it's not like your aunt who's like in
my
Cape
aunt lives
Canaveral.
like right there.
Yeah.
And she told me, we were sitting there and I was visiting and she's like, okay, there's going to be a launch tonight. And she's like, okay, it's going to be like daylight when the launch goes. I'm like, fuck, not going to be daylight. Like, what are you talking about? Fucking daylight, man. And not only that, as the sound is moving from the rocket, you hear it coming like a herd.
So even if it's night, it looks like daylight.
The sky lights up like you wouldn't
wild.
believe. And it's like this fireball that's like coming through the woods, like, and then you feel it like this brush of like air.
Wow.
It's pretty cool.
Wow. If you weren't watching the podcast and you were just listening, I feel like you should go back and watch those 10 seconds of him
like going back in my seat.
I know. I felt like I could actually feel it the way you described it. It was crazy. I've never been over there. I've never seen it, nor have I seen the museum, but I would be interested one day in going to see a rocket launch.
I would love to go over there and take you, and I would love to go to the. It's amazing.
People can like go on the actual
you want to bring
runway.
up some like bad childhood memories. So when I was in either elementary or middle school. I don't know if you remember. It was a movie that you weren't alive. Probably there was probably like this movie that came out with these kids that like launched themselves into space with like some junk they built in the backyard. Anyways, they had something called Space Camp back then.
Okay.
And it was like $2,000 to go. It was expensive. And we're talking like the 80s here. I literally was like, look, all I want for every remaining birthday of my life is to go to Space Camp. Like, that's all I wanted. And my parents just said, oh, no, you're not going to Space Camp.
That's funny. I knew a couple ones that
I heard today, if one of my kids today says, I'd like to go to Space Camp, I guarantee you someone's going to text us after this and be like, I'd like to go to Space Camp.
Someone. Oh.
Yeah, because they're like, hey, free vacation.
I don't think Space Camp is really up Bree's alley at this point in time in your life.
Totally. Yeah, no. I mean, who knows?
We don't know.
We don't know. But the point is that if one of them were like, hey, I would sell a kidney to send them to Space Camp.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
I'm like, I'll do whatever it takes to make it happen.
There's a couple
just
that
like
I know.
I made your TV happen.
Yes, you did. Before we stop, there's a couple that I know that met at Space Camp, and they're still married. But
are you serious?
You could have met the love of your life there.
Only if you were there.
Aww.
April Fools.
Okay. Is it April Fools today?
It is today?
Oh my gosh.
I know.
Wow. I haven't even planned anything.
Oh, I got something planned.
Do you?
Yeah.
You know what? This morning almost felt like an April Fool's because we had to hang the TV before the cleaners came.
Oh my gosh. It was, we got a new TV because the other TV kept pausing during shows.
Yes, I was bitching about it on the last podcast. So thank you. He came to fruition, you guys.
And you're like, it's our TV. It's wrong. And I'm like, no, I think it's like the internet. Blah, blah, blah. And then I took a poll in the office. And there was probably like at least three people, maybe four, were like, my TV does the same thing.
Okay, but here's the thing. It's one thing for your TV to do it. Literally, like if I turn Netflix on, it would pause. It would just take Netflix off and go back to just the regular like Samsung home screen. You couldn't play 5 minutes worth of it. I told you the other day I ended up just watching TV on my phone. So I think people are experiencing it, but to what extent? Because ours has gotten continuously worse over the course of time.
Right.
It was so, and even last night we were watching a show and you were like, why did you do that? Because like all of a sudden America's Funniest Home Videos was on and I got so pissed. I was like, I didn't do it. The TV did. So anyway, but what's funny is that you did order the TV, which was the most amazing thing in the entire world. Thank you very much.
That's your Christmas present.
Okay, great. And how about my birthday? That comes first.
Yeah, it could be your birthday present.
So I can still get a Christmas present. But so it could be both.
It needs to be like
pricey
2
TV.
years, 2 years worth of birthdays and Christmas.
So
we got an OLED TV, which is like it's like true black.
It's amazing.
And
it does look amazing.
I'm like, I will tell you, this TV is actually pretty amazing.
Okay, but so he gets the TV and he's like, by the way, it's going to be delivered on Tuesday.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay. And this is like all of a sudden I'm having, major PTSD because I've had deliveries come before when he hasn't been home, and it just doesn't go well. Important things coming when he's not there.
Well, things
when
happen.
He has criteria for how he wants it to come in. So he's going, they need to check to make sure. I paid for an open box, but I don't want him to open the box. But they need to check to make sure that the screen's not cracked, but leave everything with it.
Okay, first of all, you really confused the instructions that I gave. And so, first of all, when I checked out on Amazon, it was like I couldn't unselect, bring it in and unpack it for you. Well, our TV's hung. Like if it was going to be just on the dresser, I would say, yeah, I'll have them put it together, put it on the dresser, it'd be fine. But our TV's hung, which means we got to pull the other one down, put the new one up. And I just said, hey, all you got to do, open the top, pull the piece of foam out, shine a light into the box. Screen's not cracked.
Okay, by the way, not that easy because there's a piece of foam that wraps the entire TV that you can't take off. You take the foam off. Anyway, so I say to the guys, there's two guys, very nice. Did you give them a good review?
I will do that.
You need to. And tomorrow. So they're very nice. But by the way, so there I am, barking dog, baby in hand, and like opening the door. They've got this huge box with like, who knows what was in those other Amazon boxes? There was like another 100 boxes sitting outside.
Well, some of them were books.
Well, there you go.
The new
how exciting
Moonlighter's Guidebooks came in. I learned a lot. Good. It's actually a really good book. I'm really happy with everything that how it printed out. So we're getting ready to launch this on Friday. Okay. And what?
Well, we were in the middle of a story.
Okay, but now we're back into business, not belly laughs.
Okay.
It's like pivot, like Friends, like pivot. They're getting the TV upstairs.
That is literally what I just went through.
Everyone knows that you do not lay a flat screen TV.
Well, hold on. So first I'm like, hey, can you guys bring this up the stairs? Because we do live in a townhome. It would not fit in the elevator. Okay. And I'm like, if these guys don't take this TV up the stairs, guess who's helping you do it?
You are.
So I'm like, hey guys, we're bringing the TV up. So they go to try, and all of a sudden, the corner of the stairs is going into the box. And this is bringing me back to the couch.
Why didn't they tilt it vertically?
They did tilt it. The box was too big. They tilted it vertically.
77
they
inches.
tilted it horizontally. They're trying to get this thing up. It ain't happening. I mean, it is not happening. And now I'm panicked because I'm like, this is the couch all over again because we had a couch and the guys tried to get it. They were shoving it in the elevator. I mean, I was practically in tears by the time the couch people left. And end of the day, the couch landed in the garage and you ended up having to take the banister off to get it up the stairs.
And it came straight up.
Sorry, I didn't tell the random men in the... No, it was not by yourself. I helped you, but you took the banister off. So I'm like, okay, we need to get this TV up. So this guy's like, we're going to have to take it out of the box. And I'm thinking, oh, no. I'm like, I had one instruction, and it was...
Not to take it out of the box. Because it could sit in the box for a long time. Yes. Now what's happening, if anyone's had a TV delivered, one is that we have a 1-year-old running around, and she likes to bang stuff.
She likes to throw.
Bang, throw.
Heavy things.
TV could fall over.
So I get an area set up for the TV to be, they finally get it up the stairs. We check the screen. It looks good. We go to lean it up against the couch, and it like starts to slide. And I was like, oh, I don't think so. Bad idea. So we lay it down on the ground. So I call you, and we have a dog that like hops everywhere and whatever.
The dog is running on the screen.
So I call him, and he's like, you can't lay a TV flat. It'll crack. So I'm like, oh my God. Like I freaked out.
Every box from every TV will tell you to the box goes vertical.
Listen, I didn't read the box. I'm not a TV
and the question
connoisseur.
is that the reason why they make people deliver these TVs and what they check is because too many people, these TVs get delivered, they end up messing it up, and they're like, "Oh, the TV came cracked or broken." They're like, "No. It's better for them to give us the $30 install for free to save the $1,500 television."
So he's like, I was like, "Is it going to crack because of like the weight?" Like how it's laying and like whatever. And so he was like, I'll be home in an hour. Don't break the TV. And I was like, well, shoot. So I literally was like, I used the baby gates, locked the dog out of the entire floor, and took the baby out of the house in the stroller. Because I thought,
But when I got home, like Pepper was there and she like jumped on the TV.
We had just gotten home. Yeah. That was your fault.
Good plan.
She got all worked up. But so the TV, we were going to hang it last night, but our child decided she had other plans. So we were driving her around the streets trying to help her fall asleep. And so instead of last night, we were literally like in pajamas trying to hang
driving
the TV.
Around town.
Oh, but I'm talking about this morning.
Oh, yeah, this morning. We're literally in PJs.
I mean, I have no energy. I'm half asleep trying to lift these heavy TVs.
The TV wouldn't turn on. And I'm like,
I know he was blaming me. He's sitting there going, she laid it on her side. He was like, fuck, TV won't turn on.
Wouldn't turn on. Turns out I didn't push the plg in all the way.
Turns out it wasn't plugged in, people. TV. So I was like, but the minute he was like, won't turn on, I was thinking, oh.
You were kind of quiet, actually. Now that you think about that, I was thinking, she's awful quiet over there. And then I wonder what else happened while I was gone.
No, nothing happened.
And then the screws wouldn't fit. And then the TV's too high. The mounts are different.
Well, and so again, the cleaners are coming today. First of all, he didn't want it laying down for too long. And second of all, the cleaners were coming today. And I thought,
and that's a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, we can't possibly have this TV just sitting on the ground.
They broke the owl. So if I can't keep them from breaking the owl.
No, first of all,
Charlie.
They are amazing cleaners. What happened is we had a decorative owl on our staircase that was not securely connected.
I can't wait to put Charlie back up with his new enhanced.
First of all, I think we talked about this on the podcast, but it was this owl figurine, and it shattered into like a million pieces, and they came back, and it was together. Like painted and glued, and like, and so they were like, how?
If you've seen Goonies, where the statue breaks,
I'm not laughing because I haven't seen it.
Oh, okay, it's funny. Well, I can't mention it because his private parts break off, and so then they glue him back on.
His private? Oh, the statue?
Yeah.
Oh, like Michelangelo?
Yeah. Like I said,
hilarious. Well, anyway, so the TV is hung. It was not broken. It was not the same couch saga. But this is another reminder that if we ever don't live in our current home, like if we move somewhere else.
You're selling it furnished.
Everything must go. Like it cannot, I'm not moving anything out of that house. Even I've made a joke in the past, like, okay, even if we threw it away and someone wanted it out of the house, we could literally like saw it in half and throw it over the balcony. No, even that would be too hard to get out of the sliding doors. Like there's just no way.
I could do it.
I'm not interested in trying. But we did just talk about how we want to move the couch from our house to the lake and get a new couch. And so the couch is like the worst thing ever.
I will tell you, getting a new couch for that place is going to be a challenge. But if we do something that's more like sectional modular, I think we'll be okay.
Anyway, you guys, these things break and you got to get new things, and that's the story of life. And
yeah. And meanwhile, while all this is going on, I have successfully finished 60 podcast scripts for Moonlight, and we're super excited. I think we filmed like 4 or 5 so far, and I think we're starting to get into a groove. But we have to film them first thing in the morning because my voice and, when you're talking for like 10, 15 minutes straight, you can get whatever. And so this morning I was actually running late because of the TV debacle. So I had to move the podcast filming, and I had to do a Shermo group call for people to join our Shermo company. And so I talked for 45 straight minutes and then did the podcast. And I was reminding myself,
can't do that.
Not good.
Well, and now you're doing this one.
And now I'm doing this one.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And I need a big break. I need to do the podcast first thing in the morning, and then we can do this podcast later.
Well, and I'll be honest, I had a couple of work calls today that I don't typically have where I was kind of like leading the call or doing a lot of talking. Yeah. And I used to be in meetings all day long. And if I was in a meeting, chances are I was talking 80% of the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just who I am.
True fact.
Yes. And so
truth.
I'm no longer on meetings like that anymore, nor do I feel the need to participate as much if I am. And so it was a good reminder of like how it's physically and mentally exhausting to talk that much. I used to thrive off of it. Like I would get energy from being on calls, and I still do.
How did you feel as the listener?
When
other people were talking?
What are you talking about?
Well, you said I was always the talker. Now you're the listener. How do you feel?
No. What I said is I just don't have as many calls.
That's funny.
How did you feel as a listener? I was like, what are you talking about? No, I said that I'm not as inclined to want to talk as much. It doesn't mean I don't. Oh anyway, so we've had busy mornings of talking.
Going back to some business here when I was talking about the Shermo call. So I made a mistake in the posting. And I've had over 112 people apply for this job.
And what was your mistake? We'll pay you $200,000 a year for part-time.
I had an extra zero to this salary. It went from 20 to 200. No, it was I actually added remote. So the fact, what I meant is that you could work from home. So I said you had to be in the territory, but you could be remote. So yesterday there was people from Uganda on the call.
Are you serious?
Yes. Greece. There was someone from what's the other country? It's another European country. I can't think of what the name was. Well, and so I'm sitting there and and the one girl was so nice. She's like, yeah. She's like, so let me get this. She goes, I'm not sure that I can do this from Uganda, right? And I'm like, no, I'm pretty sure. She's like, and I'm just like, but I really appreciate you for being on time to the call and everything else. And I go, speaking of which, it must be really late there right now. She's like, yeah, it's like 1 a.m.
Oh no.
And I'm like, oh.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's really nice. She showed up. See, people need work.
No, I think what I'm learning is that we've got 2 more people from. We are right at the precipice. Is that the right word? Mm-hmm. Of like literally launching all these things that we've been working very diligently for 2 years for, and everything from our marketing to our software to these concepts. I feel like. I feel like I'm probably working 18-hour days at this point to get everything kind of across the finish line. But I feel like the reward, like this summer. I actually sit here, I go, I think we reap the big rewards this summer. Like I feel
I hope so. I hope so. We'll see what happens. And one of the things that's interesting is when you're working towards launching new products. And so you say this summer, I think there will be rewards reaped. You're saying big rewards. I mean,
well, I guess when I say big reward, I feel like for me personally, the chance to breathe a little is the reward I'm looking for.
And that comes with like your personal time, like working and not working, but it's not necessarily like
I'm literally going shirtless like at night and on the weekends at the house working to like get myself ready for summer. Like I'm literally
I don't know why you just
walking around.
He's literally had his shirt off and I'm like,
I cannot wait for summer and to just breathe a little bit.
He's like, I'm preparing to be at the lake. And I'm like, okay, well, can we just wait to like walk around with our shirt off until we're at the lake? It's so funny because our brother-in-law.
It changes your mentality.
Our brother-in-law never wears a shirt. And I'm just not into, I like clothes. You know,
we own a shirt company. I like clothes too.
Yeah,
I want people to wear clothes.
Yeah, all the time wear clothes. But it is interesting because we're going through a challenging time. It's been a slow season. We've talked about it. There's a lot that's coming to fruition, but not without challenges and sacrifices. And
oh yeah, for sure.
It's been an interesting couple of weeks because we've had to make some changes in the business. We've talked about cutting hours, and we've talked about having some difficult conversations. And what's been very interesting is that
divine appointment.
Yeah, whatever you want to call it. We treat the business as our livelihood, but also understand that it is others' livelihood as well.
Livelihood.
And so there's a lot of emotion involved in decision making, you know, whether it's cutting tools that help people to do their jobs, or it's literally cutting hours. Or a bit, you know, work time in the overhead to be able to pay all the bills because it's a slow season.
No one's allowed overtime.
And so It's just interesting because I remember when I gave my notice at one of my first corporate jobs, I thought it was going to be like the biggest blow ever. And they were like, oh, okay, well, good timing. And then I found out later that the Monday after I gave notice, they let go of 18 people in the company.
I know.
And they were, and I didn't know that was happening. And I, if I would have waited a day.
You wouldn't have been one of the 18, by the way.
I was not one of the 18.
You were not.
And in fact, I was just one individual. There were 2 people on my team slated to be let go who are still with the company today.
So were they kept?
They were kept.
Because you left.
Because and I did probably the work of 2 people. Like they could justify keeping
just
both.
2?
Probably 3.
They could have hired after you left.
Yeah, see? No, but it is crazy. And I think that there's been people within our business who found another opportunity and let us know. And it was like, you know what? The timing, while we hate to see people go, I feel like...
Yeah, I mean, it's always the case when you sit there and you go, you know, what do you do? Because we've had unexpected people leave. We weren't expecting. And then, you know, we
talked about that. You learn from it and you sit there and you go, okay, strategic change, or what do we need to do here to...
Yeah, but it always reminds you said this before. You're like, you know what? All of us are replaceable. Like you say that. And it's like, it's very true, right? Because there's always... And it's not that you as a person are insignificant. It's just that there's always someone else who's probably going to have different talents or different things, or you approach it differently. And we all think that we walk away and like, oh, the business is going to die without us. It's
right.
Like, no, everything's going to keep going.
And even if you're the CEO or the owner of the business, the reality is that if you have enough in place where your business was running successfully, then chances are someone else can come in and take over either a management role or an individual task-based role to get the job done. And this particular job that I was just talking about, I thought they were going to turn around and literally be like, we'll offer you double what you're being offered. Please stay with us. We want you so bad. And I couldn't understand why they weren't fighting to keep me. And it was one of those things where I had this like humbling weekend where I was like, oh, I guess I'm not as important as I thought I was. Yeah. Now, little did I even know what was going on in the business. And that's part of it too, is that like, I love the saying ignorance is bliss, because I do strongly believe in it. And I don't want to say like, if you're an employee for a company and don't know what's going on at the executive level, you're ignorant. You're just, it's not relevant to your day to day. Like you need to stay focused. You know, some people love transparency and some people allow for too much information, if not properly communicated or communicated enough, can actually lead to more worry or misunderstanding than actual help in like the trajectory of the company. And so you got to be careful as a business owner and like what you say and do and how.
I tend to get emotional with you know, letting people go or doing, you know, saying goodbye to people, because I really care quite a bit.
Well,
I don't know if I trust someone who was nonchalant about it, or who didn't have any type of emotion.
Right.
Because we're all people.
And that's the thing. Know? We want to build a business. You know, that company that I was referring to has employees that have worked there for 20, 30, almost 40 years. Like those types of companies used to exist years ago. Like both my parents were at companies for a very long period of time, where now it's fewer and further between.
I think the smaller the company, the more apt. And what I mean by head count, not necessarily revenue. I think the smaller companies that foster.
It's interesting. Some of the larger companies like Microsoft or something, for example, or Google, I feel like I see a lot of like boomeranging.
Well, that's how you get up the ladder in a big company.
Which is crazy.
The only way is to leave.
You leave, you come back. You leave, you come back. And then your salary's gone up.
Then you somehow got more experience wherever you were.
Right.
But it's the same like in the Army, right? So whenever you're an officer in the Army, they don't promote you in the same unit because everyone sees you as the lieutenant, as the captain. Like they're never going to see you as the next rank up.
Right,
so
you won't get respected.
You have to leave.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then people see you years later and they're like, oh man, how you doing? Now you're in that position.
And you're coming from a different...
And they didn't get to experience all the growing pains. And I think they do a great job. I hope that our company gets big enough to where people can bounce around between our divisions and bounce up, right? Because you're like, hey, we're going to promote this person.
So it's like you're growing from within. But
you're growing from within, but you're big enough to, and I think places like Microsoft and some of these other companies are big enough to do that. But and some like people move from, I'll give you a great example, like the Disney company, for example. If you look at the CEOs, the people that end up taking those roles, they have bounced all through the company: broadcasting, sports, this channel, theme parks. Like you bounce around and take leadership positions across it. And you're learning all aspects of the business and you're growing. If I could do it all again, like if you got to talk to 19-year-old me, 18-year-old me, I would have still gone to school to be an engineer, and I would have went straight into Disney Imagineering. And I would have started there, and I would have bounced around into leadership roles. And
you know what's interesting? Company. I strongly believe that if that was the case, you would still be where you are today, and something would have said to you, you want to do your own thing.
Probably.
But
my dream job, other than what I'm doing, is to be like, it's for Disney to call me and be like, Chris, we really need you on the board. I'd be like, I'll be there.
To create decisions with new rides and roller coasters.
No, I don't think they get that granular, but it would still be pretty cool to be part of it. Overall.
You're definitely a Disney fanatic.
Oh, I love Disney.
Conversation. We have so many topics we didn't even touch on, but oh my gosh. Wow. Sorry. There's a lot of things. I was going to say Easter's coming up, which is this Sunday. So happy Easter, everyone, because by the time you listen to this, it will be in a few days. And we're hosting at our house. We're menu planning, which is always fun, and just doing a small family thing this time. In fact, it's been a while since we've had people over. We hosted my parents just the other night, and we were watching March Madness. So we're part of this March Madness pool with my aunts and uncles. And it's funny because
I had AI do my brackets this year.
Oh, now my parents know. You haven't shared that.
Oh, I didn't tell them that.
No. Not that it matters. It's still your bracket. There was like an 8th grader who had like a perfect bracket when you didn't believe me what the odds were of like how
one
great.
In a trillion.
Something insane if you had like a perfect bracket. I don't think anybody's ever had it, but.
I don't know if I believe that or not.
Well, anyway, why wouldn't you believe it?
I don't know.
Just check the math.
Yeah.
You're not. You gonna ask AI to check the math because they're the ones that gave the number.
It's a bunch of 50-50s. I could see it being that if you're going to guess a bracket at the beginning of the basketball season, because there's just so many variables. But like if you start with, I guess, are you starting with 64 teams? Is that the start of the bracket?
I have no idea.
Or is it 32 teams?
I have no idea. Anyway,
it must be 64. That's how you get to, and maybe that's why I'm not taking into account mathematically.
Well, anyway, so we're doing March Madness. We're not huge sports people. I went to Michigan State, and so I always root for them because I'm like the one year that I don't pick them to win if they actually have a chance.
Because they have an A for the name.
For Abbott, yeah, which is really good. And then the rest of my family
Arizona.
picked Michigan, but yeah, I think you had it wrong. You had your A state wrong.
Yeah.
It is actually Arizona,
I think.
Yeah, see, this is how good
I'll
we
tell
are
you
at
what,
sports.
I will pick next year's brackets. I'm going to pick whatever teams have A's. I'm going to ride them to the top.
There you go.
To the Final Four.
That's a good strategy. So we're watching this game. My mom's hooting and hollering at the TV because it's the Duke game versus UConn, and it's about to be over. Duke's in the lead the entire game, like 10 points, just leading the charge. And in the very
double
end,
at the beginning,
UConn starts to catch up, and literally all Duke needed to do was hold on to the ball. And this guy like throws the ball, loses it, and within like 0.2 seconds left on the buzzer, this kid who's a freshman, I believe, shoots a 3-pointer
number 25
and makes it. And everyone's going, are you kidding? It was the wildest thing that UConn ends up winning by a point. Duke's out of the, March Madness bracket championship or whatever.
Bracket, yeah.
And the funniest thing to me is there's a video of the kid who shot the basket, his mom in the stands, and she's like, holy fucking shit. She's like, holy shit. And she's like freaking out. Like her face is just complete stunned.
I'm going to have to Google this afterwards.
It is so funny. She's in pure shock, just swearing. And then like she starts hugging people, but she just can't even believe it. It's hilarious.
That's amazing.
Yeah. It's a proud mom moment.
That's a proud mom moment.
It really was. Yeah. My mom was screaming too, but
if my mom had sent me to space camp, she would have a proud mom moment. I would have been like in a rocket, be like, NASA had an unexplained missile rocket launch.
Yeah, I don't think you'd ever be on a
I'm going to be like,
rocket.
that's my boy. I'm so proud of him. He made it to the moon.
By the way, even if you made it to your mom would be like, I could do that. Like Wendy would be like,
yeah,
not impressive.
I know. I'm still working very hard to impress my parents.
You poor thing.
There's so much truth in that I could probably cry. All right. We'll see you next week.
That's it. Got it. Family drama.